Introduce myself first. My name's Chris Enns. I'm the People's Party of Canada, the candidate for a neighboring riding in British Columbia. And I decided to come down to the Universal Ostrich Farm on Thursday, and I came down on Friday, and it is Sunday, and I've decided to stay another night, even though I wasn't originally going to. I was going to go home and do. So I've been able to get a interview with Karen Esperson, which is really fantastic to answer some of my questions that I feel haven't been dealt with either in different live streams or definitely not within the mainstream media.
Sure.
So I've written them down. I'm going to read them and just to make sure I've asked them correctly. So the first one is, over the past 20 years or longer, how has your relationship with the CFIA changed?
Well, I guess I can't say that. I was going to say I never really had a relationship with the CFIA. We did move birds once across the border, and we had a CFIA vet come out just to follow protocols for delousing of animals before they cross the border, and it was a really good interaction. Amazing.
Nice. Well, that's fantastic.
Yes, it was.
That's good. So the second question is then, the CFIA's stamping out policy, in my opinion, was designed for large-scale poultry farms, often in close proximity to each other, such as those in the Fraser Valley. Do you feel that one-size-fits-all legislation is appropriate when applied to small-scale farmers that aren't near significant commercial operations?
Absolutely not. Every case has to be looked and assessed at individually. You can never say one size fits all. I think that is it's sticking to a policy that's very ineffective. Number one, when they threw us into a poultry division, they should have left us in the rat-tight division of what we are. Our animals are flightless birds, they're big, they have to be out, they're more like cattle than they are poultry. When they look at poultry, they're looking at large commercial facilities, and these are birds that are enclosed and in 100 days are on your plate. So looking at it from that angle, they mismanaged this completely, and they had us fill out questionnaires as if we were commercial poultry. And we kept saying, we're going to fail because we're not commercial poultry. And they said, well, this is their policies and please be compliant. So we thought, once again, being compliant was a good thing. And we found out that was actually the worst thing that ever happened in our lives, because here we are today.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. The third question is, the CFIA and Justice Zinn denied your claim to an exemption in the rare and valuable genetics category because the legislation is only interested in selective breeding, and that potentially world-changing antibodies or genetic adaptation to disease don't qualify. Do you feel that the legislation is outdated?
Absolutely outdated. One thing we should make a note of, we were actually in the beginning, we said our breeding stock, there was a good portion of them that came directly from Africa. And we said, that being said, there's two breeds that one is rare, Somalian blue, and there's actually an Arabian black that's extinct. So we said, okay, when we talk about rare and valuable genetics, they never had an actual defined answer for what that meant. Just, they had to be rare or valuable. Well, we thought we kind of covered both, because we felt we wanted to test for Somalian blues, because we felt we had maybe a couple Somalian blues. There's one of our birds I honestly think is an Arabian black, different from all the rest also, wanted to test. That being said, and as far as we talk about valuable, an antibody hen is very valuable, that she's carrying these antibodies that actually could have a solution for H5N1. How more valuable can you get than that? So we represented absolutely every one of those check boxes, but they came back to us and said, congratulations, you qualify. And we went, oh my gosh, okay, this is great, now they're going to work with us. A week later, they said, after we filled out the exemption sheet for commercial poultry,
Yeah.
and they insisted we filled it out, and they said, if you have one no, you will be culled. And we said, well, we see 10 immediately because we're not commercial poultry. We're not in bars, we're not enclosed, we're not poultry. And she said, you have to fill it out to be compliant. So we said, we weighed it back and forth for a couple of days, and they were hounding us, we need that in, we need that in. And we finally said, well, you know what, once again, we're all about following the law. Let's be compliant, and we filled that out. The very next day, we've got we're taking away your exemption, your rare genetics and that, due to manpower, not enough manpower, nor time to deal with this issue. So it didn't matter if all of a sudden we could have a rare or an extinct bird now, or a very valuable bird. They were going to pull that completely. And then they also said in the next breath was, and sorry, you did fail that exemption sheet, and you have now gone through the appeal process, and we are calling your farm and you cannot appeal it. Yeah. And we said, let's get a lawyer.
It's like entrapment.
It was complete entrapment.
Yeah. Okay, let's go question 4. Okay, so the CFIA disease control zone is large and includes Farquhar and Apple Grove on the other side of the lower Arrow Lake. As a result of the situation here, I've been told by locals that livestock and animal products from this zone aren't allowed to be sold. Is that entirely correct? And how do you feel about the CFIA's use of collective punishment?
I'm sorry, could you say that one more time? I'm really sorry.
Oh,
I had
yeah,
a
no worries.
spider crawl.
No worries, that's fine. That's fine. So the disease control zone is of Edgewood and it extends to the other side of the lower Arrow Lake and includes Farquhar and Apple Grove.
Okay.
Castanet had published the map, so I was able to find what the control zone is. And I've been told by locals that one of the issues with the CFIA thing is that livestock, and I'm not sure if it's just bird products or all livestock, but the word livestock was used, and it seems like at least some people think that it extends to all livestock, so that could be the case. That they're not allowed to be sold because of the potential, pathogens and process contamination and all of these quarantine type terms. So my question then was, is that entirely correct? And how do you feel, almost more importantly, if it is, about the CFIA's use of collective punishment?
It is absolutely. They say this is the punishment. What they're putting everybody through right now is it doesn't matter if you don't get what you want. They'll punish you in the process, and that's the punishment. Is the process, and that's exactly what they're doing. Is they're making everybody pay the price. They are hurting a community. I do know they started zones in the Fraser Valley just because of avian flu, and they had to have it so that if you were in Zone A and you were infected, then nobody in Zone A could sell their meat. If you're in Zone B, right next door, but you're in Zone B and you're not infected, you could sell your meat. And this was to keep the trading going. So we do understand that, but in this area, that's a little extensive to make that control zone across the lake.
That's what I immediately
is one thing,
thought.
right? That's a total overreach because you're going right across the lake now. So what across the lake? How can that affect here? And it's like one lady has said, it's not like our ostrich went and had lunch with the cows down the road.
Yeah.
So how could we infect the cows down the road if we're in quarantine? Unless the ducks go down the road to the cows. Well, then that's their issue, not ours, because CFIA says we're not responsible for wildlife. And yet we even offered a solution for wildlife with our antibodies. We said we could create follow the migratory path. We could create little feeder stations and put in pellets that, because it's aromatic, that could be a little bit dusty. So as they eat it, a bit of dust comes off and they're getting these antibodies, natural antibodies, that would help eradicate H5N1. Their response to us was, we do not control wildlife. And so you can't say us here could affect somebody across the lake. Unless the ducks are going there, they don't control that. So why are they condemning the people across the lake?
Yeah, but it's just not logical.
It's
and it's
not
the first thing
logical
that
at
I
all.
saw when I looked at the map. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
So, okay. My last question is, Critics claim that if the CFIA lose this battle, that it would threaten a $1.75 billion poultry export industry. It's also a $6.85 billion domestic industry, but the export specifically has been mentioned as other countries won't trade with us. Is it worth it to capitulate and abandon what's right so that some can export more freely while Canadians face rising food costs?
I don't really think that it's going to affect the poultry as a whole. The poultry is a very powerful division, and just as they did, they set out their own guidelines to keep trading. They set up these zones so that they could control those issues. Canada has not been avian free for 4 years. So if we're looking at it that way, what we're doing here is standing up and trying to make policy change. So nobody's being condemned, it's not affecting trading. If we look at our largest trading partner right now is the US, and they are pulled out of the World Health Organization, and they have no problem trading with us, and they actually want the antibodies too. So if we're not affecting our largest trading partner, I don't know what the problem could be and how that could affect the poultry in any sense.
Exactly. No, that makes sense. Well, look, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
You bet.
Hopefully those are some interesting questions, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate
You're very
it.
welcome.